Deep in the heart of an uncharted jungle, a group of four explorers, Lena, the determined leader, Max, the clumsy yet well-meaning botanist, Zara, the quiet yet sharp-witted cartographer, and Theo, the ever-curious zoologist, embarked on a quest to discover a hidden city rumored to hold the secrets of an ancient civilization. The dense foliage and eerie calls of unknown creatures surrounded them as they trekked deeper into the jungle, guided only by Zara's hand-drawn map. One evening, as they set up camp near a river, Max accidentally set off a series of comedic events when he tripped over a vine, causing their cooking pot to roll down a hill, scattering their dinner everywhere. Lena scolded him, but the sight of Max chasing the pot while stumbling over roots had everyone laughing, lightening the tense atmosphere. As the group moved forward the next day, they encountered a peculiar monkey with bright blue fur, who seemed to be playing a game with them. The monkey would steal their gear, only to return it with a cheeky grin, as if it were trying to lead them somewhere. Following the mischievous monkey, they soon found themselves standing before an ancient stone door, covered in moss and strange symbols. Theo's excitement was palpable as he studied the carvings, declaring them to be the entrance to the lost city they had been seeking. However, the door wouldn't budge despite their efforts, and nightfall forced them to set up camp once more. As the fire crackled, Max attempted to cook again, only for another disaster to unfold when his makeshift stove collapsed, splatting soup everywhere. Despite the setback, the group couldn't help but laugh, their spirits lifted by the absurdity of the situation. Later that night, as they lay beneath the stars, Lena confided in Theo about her fears of leading the team into danger. Theo reassured her with a soft smile, saying that no matter what happened, they were in it together. The next morning, Zara discovered a hidden mechanism on the door, and with a click, the entrance to the city opened before them. Stepping inside, they were awestruck by the sight of towering statues, intricate carvings, and a massive, shimmering crystal at the center of the city. Their excitement was short-lived, however, as the ground beneath them began to tremble. A trap had been triggered, causing parts of the city to collapse as they scrambled to find safety. In the chaos, Max was separated from the group, his shouts for help echoing through the crumbling ruins. Lena, determined to save her friend, led the others in a frantic search for Max, their laughter from the previous night now replaced with fear. After what felt like hours, they found him trapped under a fallen pillar, unconscious but alive. Working together, they managed to free Max and carry him out of the collapsing city, emerging into the jungle just as the ancient ruins sealed themselves once more. The group was relieved to have survived, but the brush with death left them shaken, their joy now tinged with the somber reminder of the dangers they faced. The next few days were spent tending to Max's injuries, as the group set up a more permanent camp to allow him time to recover. Theo, ever the optimist, tried to lift everyone's spirits with stories of legendary animals rumored to inhabit the jungle, like the elusive golden jaguar. Despite his efforts, a shadow hung over the camp as they grappled with the reality of how close they had come to losing Max. Zara, usually the most reserved of the group, surprised everyone by sharing tales from her childhood, trying to create a sense of normalcy amid the uncertainty. As Max regained his strength, he insisted on resuming their exploration, not wanting to be the reason they abandoned their mission. Lena, torn between concern for her friend and the drive to fulfill their goal, eventually agreed, and the group set off once more. They soon stumbled upon a series of strange markings on the trees, which Theo identified as a primitive form of writing. The markings seemed to be leading them somewhere, and after a day of following the trail, they arrived at a hidden village deep within the jungle. The villagers welcomed them with cautious curiosity, offering food and shelter in exchange for stories of the world beyond the jungle. During their stay, Max became particularly close with a young boy who shared his love for plants, teaching him about the various flora they had encountered. One evening, as they sat around the village fire, an elder approached Lena with a solemn expression, telling her of a prophecy that spoke of outsiders who would bring both fortune and sorrow to their village. The elder's words unsettled Lena, who began to question whether their presence would do more harm than good. The next morning, the group awoke to find that the boy Max had befriended was missing, and the village was in an uproar. Fearing the worst, they joined the search, but as the hours passed, hope began to dwindle. Just when they were about to give up, the mischievous blue monkey appeared again, leading them to a hidden cave where the boy had taken refuge. The boy explained that he had followed the monkey, thinking it would show him something amazing, but had gotten lost. Relieved but exhausted, the group returned to the village, where they were hailed as heroes for rescuing the boy. However, the elder's prophecy weighed heavily on Lena's mind, and she wondered if their journey was worth the risks they faced. As they prepared to leave the village, the elder gifted them with a small, intricately carved statue, said to bring protection on their journey. The villagers bid them farewell with a mix of gratitude and sadness, and the group resumed their trek through the jungle. The days that followed were marked by a strange sense of unease, as if the jungle itself were watching their every move. Despite this, they pushed forward, determined to uncover the secrets that lay hidden within the depths of the jungle. One evening, as they set up camp near a waterfall, they were ambushed by a group of masked figures who took them captive. The captors led them deep into the jungle, where they were brought before a mysterious figure known only as the Guardian. The Guardian, an enigmatic woman with piercing eyes, accused them of desecrating the sacred city they had discovered earlier. She revealed that she was the last descendant of the ancient civilization that had once thrived in the jungle, tasked with protecting its secrets. Lena pleaded for their release, explaining that they meant no harm and were only seeking knowledge. The Guardian, however, was unmoved, stating that their intrusion had set off a chain of events that could not be undone. As the group sat in their makeshift prison, Max, ever the optimist, tried to lighten the mood with jokes, but his efforts were met with silence. Zara, normally composed, was visibly shaken, her mind racing with thoughts of how they could escape. Theo, on the other hand, was fascinated by the Guardian's story, eager to learn more about the ancient civilization. Despite the dire situation, he found himself admiring the Guardian's dedication to preserving her people's legacy. After what felt like days, the Guardian approached them with a proposition. She would allow them to leave the jungle, but only if they swore never to reveal what they had seen. Lena, with no other choice, agreed, and the Guardian led them to the edge of the jungle. As they emerged into the sunlight, they were struck by a profound sense of loss, knowing that they would never again see the wonders of the jungle. The group stood in silence, each lost in their own thoughts, before finally turning their backs on the jungle and beginning the long journey home. Months passed since their return from the jungle, and life had returned to a semblance of normalcy. Lena, however, couldn't shake the feeling that a part of her had been left behind in the depths of the jungle. She found herself often thinking about the ancient city, the Guardian, and the villagers who had shown them kindness. Max, too, was haunted by memories of the boy he had befriended, wondering if he was safe and happy. Zara threw herself into her work, mapping out new territories with a fervor that bordered on obsession, as if trying to fill the void left by the jungle. Theo, Ever the dreamer spent his days studying the plants and animals they had encountered, trying to unravel the mysteries they had glimpsed. One day, Lena received a letter from the village they had visited, brought by a traveler who had passed through the jungle. The letter was from the boy, who wrote of the adventures he had since their departure, and how he had grown into a skilled botanist. The letter brought a smile to Lena's face, but also a pang of sadness as she realized how much she missed the jungle and the people they had met. She shared the letter with Max, who was overjoyed to hear that the boy was doing well. Despite the joy the letter brought, it also stirred up old memories and emotions, reigniting the group's longing for the jungle. They began to gather more frequently, reminiscing about their journey and debating whether they should return. The idea of going back to the jungle was both thrilling and terrifying, as they knew the risks all too well. However, the pull of the unknown was too strong to resist, and they soon found themselves making plans for a second expedition. This time, they were more cautious, better prepared, and determined to avoid the mistakes of their previous journey. As they stood at the edge of the jungle once more, they felt a mix of excitement and trepidation, knowing that this time they were not just visitors, but participants in the jungle's story. The journey was as challenging as before, with the jungle throwing new obstacles in their path at every turn. They encountered strange creatures, navigated treacherous terrain, and solved puzzles left behind by the ancient civilization. One night, as they camped by a river, they were visited by the blue monkey once again, who seemed delighted to see them. The monkey led them to a hidden temple, where they discovered a chamber filled with ancient artifacts and inscriptions that told the story of the lost civilization. As they studied the inscriptions, they realized that the ancient people had faced a catastrophe that had forced them to abandon their city. The Guardian's ancestors had been tasked with preserving their knowledge and ensuring that their story would not be forgotten.